Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for episode 10 of Survivor 45. My name is Mike Bloom, and woo, we we have an episode to get into. It's going to be more fun than doing a test of endurance during a carnival or snacking on your favorite scone. Hopefully, the podcast is just as delicious and hopefully not as imaginary as said carnival scone as we break down honestly an all over the place episode of Survivor. So apologies if this podcast is all over the place, but that's our trademark as well. Let me welcome in our panel for this week. Someone who I personally would consider a gift from God, unlike what Jake thinks of Drew. It's Liana Boris. Liana, how are you?
Thank you. I prefer to consider myself more of a mobster, actually. But I'll take either. Look, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but not too under the weather to talk about the over-the-top episode that was Survivor this week. And everything from montages to scones, we've got it all here. I can't wait to talk about it all.
Well, if you are the mobster, then let's go to perhaps one of the members of your goon squad here with no offense. I know that Bruce said he's his own TMZ, but we have our own TMZV. It's Puya Zanvakili, our guest this week.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. It's episode 10. I'm a 10, so it makes sense. Also, Mike's been ducking me on the BNB for years. Every time I'm here, he's not. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. I do appreciate it.
This finally dispels the theory that you and I are the same because we're never in the same place at the same time.
They say that a lot. Yeah, I feel like a lot of truthers are going to be sad about this reality now, harsh reality.
I don't know. For all they know, I could be that AI singer that just got released on social media.
What?
Did you not see this? That they actually created an AI singer who had a personality who sat there and did a whole introduction and sang a song written by ChatGPT.
Was it good?
No.
No. It was
I just found my new top Spotify artist for next year.
Already?
AI bot.
Yeah, I can find her name now. AI singer. I think it's Anna Indiana. Is the name?
No.
It's legitimately
Anna Indiana. Not Anna Indiana. No.
You've heard of Hannah Montana. It's time for Anna Indiana.
Yeah, it's a spinoff no one wanted, but with AI. Oh my God, computers are taking our jobs.
Well, hopefully not this one. I think a computer would break if it tried to be on the B&B just because we're throwing so much stupid shit at it.
What was the name of that AI that started spouting racist stuff as soon as it got on the internet?
Oh,
Which
Tay or whatever. No, it was Microsoft. That is Tay, the bot or whatever. It was as soon as they let it out into the universe, it immediately got corrupted. That's how I feel a little bit about any AI that would be on the B&B. If it were to take the transcripts and try to write an episode, it would probably make as much sense as an episode of the B&B because it's just all chaotic anyway.
Well, that I think pertains to the tone of this episode of Survivor, which I very much enjoyed. I know that people can be results oriented. You look at the voting chart and you're like, okay, Bruce got voted out. The chains aren't being moved. We didn't make this big move against the Rebas that we wanted. But again, this is why I say enjoy the journey over the destination, because I mean, on the one hand, you get letters from home, which apparently now is forever the substitute for the loved ones visit. You get and a lot of incredible emotion around that. Very mixed emotion considering the Katora of it all. But even before that, you get Julie and Drew, the game bot of the season, having an emotional breakdown on the beach. Jake's I don't even know who I am anymore. Am I the mobster? Am I the goon? Am I even a lawyer out here? But then you contrast that with, honestly, maybe the funniest episode of Survivor on the whole that I've watched in quite some time. Between the montage, between the carnival scones, between Bruce's attempt at acting, and then it immediately blowing up in his face. Because why would you say that you lost your idol 3 days after it actually would have happened? Why did you not say it beforehand? And then culminating, obviously, in Bruce always zigging when everyone else zags, even if the sign says, hey, you better zag, because Zig goes straight into a pit. He says, no, this won't be a pit. Spoiler alert, he falls into a pit. He gets voted out with an idol in his pocket for the first time since season 41, when literally everyone was telling him, we are voting for you, play your idol. Puya, I need to hear all your thoughts about this episode.
I'm with you, Mike, because I do feel like it's very easy to look at the season overarching and be like, it's a pagonging. The Rebas have it in lockdown. But what's been fascinating is the journey to which they're getting there. Again, the fact that you said, look at the voting chart and Bruce got voted out, he shouldn't have been voted out. There was no world where Bruce was supposed to leave this episode. I think all of us came into the episode thinking, well, Bruce has got an idol, so if he doesn't win the immunity, he'll play the idol, someone else will go. The fact that he didn't, and the 90 minutes, I've believe it or not, I have heard differing opinions on it. Some people are like 90 minutes is too much minutes. I don't think so. I'm enjoying it. Now, you know, in a 90-minute episode, are 5 minutes of them a little much sometimes? Yeah, of course. It's a lot of time, but I am loving it. I'm having a good time here. And 45 has just been a very fun season for me. It's pretty much been all bangers, no misses.
It is funny that you say that, though, like the mix of all the goofiness with the mix of the raw emotionality, because there were, like, I'm looking through my notes right now and it's almost like either super silly, really emotional.
Yep.
Super silly, really emotional, and kind of like nothing in between. Which is like, it's a very odd mix. I mean, obviously the editors have to work with what they have. But I think especially to cap it off with Bruce not playing his idol. But I mean, then you kind of look at the facts and you're like, well, look, maybe Emily did a great job. At least we're shown that she was giving credit for convincing him that he didn't need to play the idol, that they were going to flip on Julie. So, you know, who knows? Like maybe there's a good reason, and if he can survive one more day and still have an idol in his pocket. Although he did say, oh, I don't want to be voted out with an idol. So
yeah. And it's also tough as well because obviously hindsight is 2020, but I talked to him on Thursday, provided a lot of insight into a lot of things. A couple things he said. First, he actually did like solely credit Emily with convincing him not to play the idol, which you could look at her statement of like, oh, when Bruce is voted out, everyone will say that's Emily's move. And you think, okay, that's conjecture. Is that something the edit would purposely keep in? But no, Bruce did seem, and if Emily makes it to the end, this could be something that she singularly claims. The other thing is that Bruce knew he was pretty much dead in the water. Like he did not have any ideas or plans as to what to do should he survive the night. He basically said, like, I have to win out until fire, which is astounding to me in so many ways, but Bruce just continues to astound. And I guess that is an indicator of like, yeah, if he survived this vote, he would have had an idol. And I think maybe one of the sole reasons he did it, besides, okay, there's a plan to get Julie together, is, okay, I just need to guarantee myself another round if I don't keep winning immunities. Like, it wasn't okay, and then the four of us will work together moving forward. I think for him, it was just, hey, if I can squeak through, then that's one less round I have to get until I make it to fire and assumingly win.
Okay, there's like consistently this logic behind, okay, my brain is a little mushy, so we're gonna try to like push through the mush. All right,
yes,
so
push through the mush.
Push through the mush. Yes, just like Hannah, Anna, Indiana.
Anna, Indiana, push through the mush. That's her song. How did you know that?
Anna, Indiana.
Okay, so there's this idea of like you should always play the idol because you buy yourself one more day, and who knows what one more day is going to give you. Okay, one line of thinking. The other line of thinking is like, well, if you don't have a shot in hell to make it, like, then you should just risk it and see, because otherwise you're never going to have a shot to get to the end anyway. Because if they were never going to vote with him, they were never going to vote out Julie, then he never really had a shot anyway. And the idol's not going to do much because it only buys him like one more day. So there's sort of like those two divergent lines of thinking. And I don't know what Bruce was thinking, but because apparently like Bruce thought both were true. Because I almost kind of feel like, look, even if you know, just play it. Just like try to bide yourself that one more day, because you never know. There might be something wonky where half the cast doesn't vote. You know, you never know.
Yeah, the twist could be like, next week, everyone but Bruce doesn't vote.
Yeah, exactly. What a wild twist that would be. It's production loves that. Or maybe Bruce gets sent to Exile Island and he gets to like chill for an episode, just like by himself, like hanging out. And then the girls have to infight. Like, you never know what's going to happen. So you might as well just play it. And then, especially if you know that you're going to go, you know what I mean? I feel like just play it. Just play Bruce. Just play it. Plus, also it's just sad to see Bruce go.
Sort of, but like the perfect way to go out, right, Puya? That this entire time, people have been so upset with Bruce because of how belligerent and obstinate he is that it's like, hey, just so you know, you're coming across this way. Great, great, great. That's not going to stop how I'm doing it. That I am so set in my ways. I know the way that things should be done. Isn't it so poetic that we have 7 other people saying like, yeah, Bruce, you should probably play your idol. Yeah, it's probably going to be you, maybe with the exception of Emily. And Bruce is like, I think I know better. I'm pretty sure I can take the temperature right now.
No one tells Bruce what to do but Bruce. Whether it's right or wrong, Bruce will follow his own lead. I mean, honestly, this is low-key the most Bruce thing to have happened, where he's sitting on this idol and you think everything. He's going to use it. He doesn't. I will say I'm very happy that we've been getting a lot more personal content from Bruce in the last couple episodes, because up until this point, his storyline really was, I'm going to be the uncle, but everyone's like, he's dad. This is dad. Dad is telling us what to do. We don't like dad. Dad bad. And I'm happy that we're getting some retrospection from him on the show as things are going along. And, you know, this season really did open, I think, hopefully open a lot of people's eyes to, if someone was cast on the show and was immediately taken out early, whether through, you know, environmental problems in that they got medevaced or they get booted early, you never know. They were cast for a reason, and I'm happy we got to see Bruce's reason. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I honestly think Bruce's presence on this season alone should be Exhibit A to bring back more pre-mergers, whether it's like you pull a Survivor South Africa and you do like returning season where half of them are pre-mergers, whether you do that very, you know, thoroughly fictionalized First Boots season as well. It's a great point, Puya, that people are cast on this show for a reason. I mean, this has been the year of Bruce in so many ways. Think about it. We have only seen him in our lives in the year 2023.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Because it was the, March when he first graced our screens.
Yeah.
And now he's back lying
just
about
think
his
a
idol.
year ago, we're like, who is Bruce Perrault? I don't know who this man is. And now we can say that we know him. And because we knew him, we have been changed for good.
I can't believe we lived in a Bruceless world. This is why COVID happened. We needed Bruce to
No, please don't say this is why COVID happened with Bruce.
No.
Bruce is like, I'm going to eat this bat. You can't tell me not to.
Oh my.
Oh my God, better than the fish eyeballs. Ugh.
Well, I think the big to-do in terms of gameplay in this episode is we talked about Emily pretty much being the arbiter of Bruce's fate, very much confirmed by his exit press. And if we had sort of like a heart rate monitor connected to all of the Survivor fandom collectively during that scene where Emily goes to Bruce and suggests, okay, if they're splitting, we'll actually do like a 4-2-2 vote with the Bellows and me and come over the top and get rid of Ariba, to then Emily following it up with the confessional of course I'm lying to Bruce. I don't want him to play his idol. There's obviously been a big to-do as to why Emily decided not to go through with this plan, what she thinks her path is to the end. Where are you sitting right now with that, Puya?
So here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people are just looking at this as ones and zeros and like, Reba 4, they're tight. Do whatever you can to upset the apple cart and bump one of them out. But I would argue, look at who she'd have to flip with. There are 3 people that do not trust each other, actively are lying to each other for no reason, and then actively, even though it's like, oh, I'm so happy we're working together. Absolutely not. We're not working together. I want you out. I just feel like, to me, Emily has no choice right now but to ride this out. I think she makes the right call here, in my opinion, because ultimately it's a notch on the resume. And then you get a little bit closer to that end game. Maybe you've been building rapport with some of these Reba people. You're like, listen, I've been having a good time. I understand that I might be 5th out as the way you're looking at it. But the reality is you are at best playing for 4th or 3rd right now if you go with the crop you're going with. I think that's when you let the dissension happen, especially because of how tight the 4 are. There might be, again, emotions involved. There might be anger of, why did you flip on us? And some sourness. And then Emily can continue riding that wave. I really think she can. And I feel like we've been seeing her throughout the season be like the one person who can get away with being brutally honest and getting no blowback. You know how many times on this show I've seen the messenger get shanked? That's not Emily. Emily can be the messenger, and everyone's like, "Oh, thank you for that information. I do appreciate, even though you're telling me to my face that I'm not doing well. That's very nice. Thank you." And no one else can do it like this. I'm very happy with Emily and seeing where she's at.
Yeah, I thought there was actually a perfect example in this episode of the Bellows not trusting each other, and it's when Bruce tells his fake lie to Katurah, but tells her the truth. So he tells her, "Yes, this is a lie." So Katurah
which was so
immediately
funny, by the way. He tells the story and then follows it up probably 30 seconds later with, "How is my acting?"
How's my acting? She's like, what? Like, what? What are you doing? Like, Bruce. Oh my gosh. It was so funny. So yeah, okay. So Bruce tells Katurah, who he trusts, okay, right? Because he tells her the truth. But then Katurah immediately rats him out to the girls. Then Bruce tells Jake the lie because he doesn't trust Jake. Jake immediately rats out Bruce. Like, there's all of this, just their one lie, the Bruce lie. There's all this like cross contamination of them throwing each other under the bus. Like, I understand, and Emily, I think, has the confessional to this degree, which is like, they just can't work together. Like, how am I supposed to trust that I can move forward with this group of people, like, after potentially this one vote? So even though, yes, the Reba 4 in our eyes may seem like this unbreakable force, I think she has to kind of bank on the fact that, and maybe Drew has told her things like, yeah, we'll definitely fracture when it gets lower or whatever, hoping that those relationships will be more impactful and more powerful than running with the herding cats that are the Bellows.
Yeah, and the reality is, of the 4 people that aren't Reba, she's situated in the best spot. So all she does by doing this, first of all, is putting all the trust in this Bello group that they can get together. But also, if one thing goes wrong, they were already on their way out. Her name just gets pushed top of the list. So like, you know what? The 4 of us can still stick together, and we get rid of Emily, who's causing dissension, and then we continue what we were doing anyway. So I feel like there's no reason to upset it. Yes, right now it might look like she's going to 5th place, but if she switches up, I think she's looking at 8-7-6 and not so much looking at 4-3-2-1. So we got to wait it out.
I think it's tough because honestly, the opportunity to strike would have been last week if a third of them did not lose their votes. Then I feel like if you have Kendra, she and Kendra have a much more solid relationship. Kendra, I think, is more amenable to communicating with Bruce. That's still an unlikely coalition to, I think, stay together to the final 5, but at least you feel like you have 5 votes there. I do feel like Emily is sleeping a bit in Kelly's shoes now, of, to your point, the herding cats of like, oh my God, these people just do not get along with each other. I mean, to culminate upon that sequence you were talking about, Liana, when Bruce gets the momentum going, or so he thinks, with this Julie plan, he goes to Jake and he's like, okay, we've got this idea happening. And Jake's like, do you have your idol? He's like, yeah, sorry, I lied to you. Anyway, let's move on with this plan. Like, is that not indicative of how these people feel about each other? That, sure, I'll tell you the pertinent information that I did lie to you as with a valuable piece of information. I'll tell you when it's most convenient that you would actually be on my side. The way I'm perceiving it at this moment is, I think, honestly, from the way Bruce was describing his game, it was just impossible to take him to the end. If you did, you have to like pull a lot of strings or convince a Reba member like, no, actually, he's the GOAT to drag to the end. Because I've certainly seen that argument of like, well, Bruce is the GOATiest GOAT on the season, which we could talk about another one, but I would definitely agree with that. People might have respect for his immunity wins, but I think from like a personality perspective, especially given the makeup of the jury right now, absolutely not. He's not getting that votes in the slightest, but it's a matter of getting them there. You know, Philip Shepard got to the end through the graces of Boston Rob, but like, he had to play one of the most dominant games in Survivor history to do that. On the other side of the coin, Sherry Beetham in Fans vs. Favorites 2 tried to do the exact same thing with Shamar in the pre-merge, and it did not go as well because, yeah, it's very dependent on your own position in the tribe, let alone the position of said person you're trying to drag to the end with you.
And also you have to like convince a majority that this is the person that you want to take as a GOAT, and this is the person who then each of you individually need to turn on the other people in your core 4 in order to take to the, you know what I mean? Like the line of logic that you need in order to convince somebody that this person needs to slot into that final GOAT slot. I feel like that's something that you can make a little bit closer down the line. Like maybe when you get to final 6, that's when somebody can kind of flip into that slot. But I feel like it was just too early, and there were too many people and too many like solid blocks, specifically with Reba, in order to sort of slide that person into the GOAT setting.
Yeah. So while one goat falls, I would surmise another rises. Now, this is an argument, Liana, that you and me and Ali Lasher had last week of like, if Jake gets to the end, how will he be perceived? And I got on the stand. I was the defense. You were the prosecution, and did say, like, no, I think Jake's underdog narrative, he's very well spoken. I think if he gets to the end, I think he could possibly take it. He could be a threat. Yeah, I'm gonna eat my words like a nice carnival scone here. I'm not gonna say that like one exit interview completely changed my mind, but when I talked with Kendra on Monday, which was after we had recorded the B&B, she had said that apparently that Kelly vote, where Jake basically thought he was getting all the votes onto him and played his shot in the dark, was much more self-destructive than we saw. Kendra said that he got into a tiff with her, that he got into a tiff with Katurah, and that I think we've got obscured for us a bit the fact that this guy may have sank his odds of winning in that day. And granted, that was at the final 10. There was still plenty of more games to go. And granted, yeah, maybe Jake could scrape by as he continues to do so to make it to the final 3. But I'm starting to see a path right now that, again, is perhaps a bit hidden from the edit, I think, to build suspense, where I don't know if this jury views Jake very highly. I think, again, his story objectively is interesting, especially, again, if he continues to, like, be the secondary target, but making it through vote by vote. That's a fantastic story of survival. But I could see this jury, and especially the way that, like, Jake had a relationship with them, or lack thereof, as perhaps a harbinger of, okay, but did you really bring yourself there at the end? And does that make you deserve my jury vote?
How did he get into a fight with Kendra?
How
does that even happen?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, listen, Jake was freaking out, running around all over the place. Like, maybe he was a little negative Nancy, and Kendra's the positive Polly, and so maybe just, like, those forces, like magnets, counteracted each other.
I guess so.
I think what's fascinating about playing any of these games is very much not, maybe some people don't realize this or we don't think about it enough, but how much of your game is in your hands. And what I mean by that is you actively have a big control in the perception others are going to have of you. And on a scale of you're full confident and you're taking claim for everything, which might make you seem delusional to people, to kind of where I see Jake at this point, where he's maybe a little too open about how he feels about his chances and talking about imposter syndrome. I've talked about my imposter syndrome very much on, you know, with my content creation, with my podcasting. Sometimes like, how did I get here? How am I, you know, looked at as someone who's like in this echelon? That's ridiculous. But I will never say that in this game, because I feel like the minute you make other people see you that way, your door opens to get to that final 3. But in a position where, you know, more often than not, of the 3 seats, one of them is kind of for like that GOAT 0 vote finalist. That's kind of the door that's now open to you. And those other 2 chairs are also there, but they're not for you. It's like when you go to dinner and there's a clear kiddie table and it's like a kiddie chair, and you're like, well, mom's not going to sit in this. Dad's not going to sit in this. I'm the only one that's going to fit in this chair. I don't know. My analogy kind of went all over the place, but what I'm trying to say is
sitting in like a little chair for kindergartners.
The high chair,
like
yeah,
the table,
or the little short one.
Yeah, the little short one. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's acting, right? Because isn't he like a theater kid or whatever? So it's acting.
Yeah,
well,
but like, when is he gonna pull the second half of the Bruce to be like, did you like my acting? Because they're buying the performance right now.
Yeah.
Because that's still doable. You could still be like, boo, I came from the smoke. You had no idea this was happening in front of you. That's still doable. But I feel like if you show them a little too much, at what point do they say, nah, there's no way someone could act like this for 5 straight tribals? You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be a thing.
I always think that's so tough, because we talked about it of like someone like a Philip Shepard going to the end and then being like, "Psych, like it was all an act. I got you to believe that I was blah, blah, whatever." I just feel like that's so difficult to pull off. And I just feel like also Jake has done a lot of things that have sort of just continued to make him not exactly the most favorable. Like last week, the look at Kendra, his like sassy look, the fight this week with Drew, like none of these things are doing you any favors.
No, we need to talk about this. It's not doing him any favors, but it's doing us a lot of favors.
I love it.
This was such a fun fight, people are like, this new era is so hunky-dory. I feel like this season has very much proven to be the opposite. Now, maybe it's just the law of averages that, like, the first 4 seasons were so positive that this one has to be so negative where people hate each other and are getting in fights. But I love it. And I also love it from Drew's perspective as well. I think a lot of people are unfortunately castigating Drew for a lot of stuff that honestly is not his fault. But I think people are, again, feeling very game body of him. Ain't no bot in this fight right now. I loved how, like, offended he got about, you know, why are you throwing my name out there, Jake? And then Jake doing this conversation's over, which is what Drew did to Brando.
Oh my God, it was all so good. It was so good. And I'm just like, I love, and that's the other thing too, is I love how that rumor just all of a sudden spirals and like goes out and like someone tells like I can't remember how it ended up like making its way all the way to Drew.
Yeah, so it was that, so Emily told Jake, everyone's coming after you. And Jake's like, even Drew? And Emily's like, especially Drew. And then I think Julie then told Drew that, like, Jake was throwing his name around, right? Because then Jake talks with Julie down by the beach, down by his crying place that he'll go back to. And that's also very much Bruce as well, right? That, like, Jake's having this very real moment where he's reconciling with his sense of self. And Bruce is like, look at me. Look at me. Congrats on passing the bar. Stand up and get out of here.
I guess it's his way of comforting him, I suppose, or like
you are strong. You passed the bar.
That's a weird relationship. Remember when Jake fell down that one time and Bruce like stood up and Jake shook him by the shoulders and said, "Laugh at me. You're supposed to laugh at me."
Oh my God, I need the fan edit of all of those moments together, please.
So what, like, I will remember you?
Aww.
Yeah, exactly. Of their little relationship that eventually fell apart at the end. But yeah, no, it was always fun to see a fight. That was very enjoyable. But I think especially the lines that you're not a gift from God, and then the mobster, like all of that was all just extra delicious.
Yeah, exactly. And you're a goon, your game is donezo was such a great way to close out that segment.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Let's talk about some other random moments from this episode, because I don't want to let like anything go by. I feel like this is the perfect B&B episode. There's been a lot to do on the internet. Perhaps like one of the biggest deep dives, Sherlock Holmesy collective moments on the internet's part that I've seen on Survivor in quite some time has been the mystery of Jeff and the scones. About him speaking about this endurance challenge, about how usually this is kind of a fun challenge you might do at a carnival for laughs while you're having a scone. And Jake indignantly replies, "What carnival have you seen this at?" Which is a valid question on top of scones.
I feel like the scone is the weirder part of that statement. Like, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like, okay, yeah, have I seen that particular game at a carnival? Like, no, I haven't, but I could see it. It's like a test of endurance. You hold on to the thing. I have never in my life seen a scone at a carnival. Like, a funnel cake, sure. But a scone? Never a scone. That's, to me, the biggest issue of that statement. I don't know. Am I alone here, Puya?
Is it fried? Because if it's fried, I can see it. You know what I mean? It could be a fried scone. That's not a thing, but could be.
So here is what the good people of the internet have, I think, amassed. They've taken out the poster boards. They've gotten the red push pins in. They're ready to Pepe Sylvia this BS. So from what I have gleaned through what other people have gleaned, they have asked around, and it seems like scones are offered at carnivals in really only one area of this fine country. The Pacific Northwest, specifically Washington. They offer scones for whatever reason. Jeff Probst, initially born in Kansas, but if you recall an anecdote he told during a really weird tribal council in the new era, when I was a kid, I had to move from Kansas to Washington, and I had to learn how to fit in with all the new kids there. And I think a way he fit in was going to those carnivals in Washington.
And eating scones.
Eating those scones. And unfortunately, he went through what a lot of us went through, I'm sure. You know, Puya, coming from Dubai, I'm sure there were a lot of traditions that you watched at the Western World with, and you're like, oh, you guys don't do this? Jeff Probst experienced this, but unfortunately on a national stage.
Yeah, I looked it up, and there is a scone at the Washington State Fair. The first thing I saw. So he was right, but just for a very small region of people. Everyone else was like, wait a minute, what is this? Again, I didn't think it was that big a deal. I thought it was good comedy, but some people, like, the detectives scare me, Mike. This is too deep. The people are in too deep on the detective work on this.
Listen, as long as
I
we're
love
focusing on that, other than digging up dirt on the rest of us, like, please focus on that. Sniff that scone. I mean, what's so interesting about it, though, is for me, what I love about it is how matter of fact Jeff is with it. Like, as we all know, when one is at the carnival eating scones, it's like, yes, as we all know, when our mother likes to dress us up as a cloud and put us in the bathtub for hours. Like, you're saying way too much about yourself by thinking that everyone experiences this.
I would love to get more of those internal Jeff thoughts. Like, go ahead. Oh, and what does this remind you of, Jeff?
Yeah.
What do you think of? There was a line during the reward challenge. I have it written in my notes, but I have no context for it. It just says kneecap by kneecap.
That's how he described Julie going through the net. I wrote that down as well. Kneecap by kneecap.
Okay, so I thought that one was also kind of a weird statement to say. Maybe that is also common to the Pacific Northwest. Maybe after getting your scone, you crawl to the next carnival game kneecap by kneecap.
You put a kneecap on top of the other and you enjoy your scone.
I could only imagine after the other. Exactly. I could only imagine, like, the only image I have of thinking about Jeff getting a scone at the carnival is like Jeff Probst's man head on like a little boy's body with a sailor suit. Like, he's like, Mom, one more scone, please. The raspberry jam has stuck to my face. Like, just like a little hoity-toity lad at the carnival being like, Mama, if I eat one more scone, I cannot hang on for the endurance test.
What is this accent?
I can picture it. I can see it though.
Yeah.
Mama, not on the carousel, please. I've imbibed too many scones.
Mike, what's your go-to carnival snack?
Oh, probably deep fried Oreos.
Okay. I had those recently for the first time.
Nice. You've had those, Booyah.
Yeah.
And
they're good. They're good. I like them.
Yeah. I just feel like, I don't know, are there other baked goods? You did the research. Is there any other baked good offered at this fair? Or are scones like the lone sticking point of, okay, this is a little off?
I have to double check because I just, if you look up Washington State Fair scones, first thing you see. Now, I don't know how much of this is Survivor Spike, though. Like,
that would be interesting. Yeah, it's like as it relates, because people are searching for that, Google's going to start like pushing those search results.
They have elephant ears.
Okay, so that's a term for like fried dough. The Western version of that.
Popcorn. There's a thing called Korean cheese dogs. They got burgers. Okay, I'd go.
So why did the scone stick through?
That was his treat. That's his pick.
That must have been his favorite.
You know what I think? I don't think they offer scones. I think Jeff's mom was like, all right, I'm too cheapo deepo to buy anything. Here's a scone left over from breakfast. I got it from that booth over there, Jeff.
Yes, you can also have a special treat from the fair. Yes, you had this from the fair. I got it at the fair.
Now remember, 50 years from now, when you're talking about this in an endurance challenge, you got this at the fair.
Be sure to reference this.
Yeah, it's like smeared with whipped butter and local raspberry jam. These mouthwatering scones continue to be a crowd pleaser year after year. I think there's dozens of them. I don't think it's just Jeff.
I will also say, it sounds like a nightmare to me for me to go to the carnival and they're like, great, we're going to have so much fun. We're going to ride the tilt-a-whirl. We're going to get a stuffed animal. We're going to hold ourselves up on pegs for as long as possible.
I feel like I picture the, that latest trend carnival game where you have to like hang with two hands on a little pole for 2 minutes and they say that they're rigged or like people can't do it. I think that's what he was picturing when he was commentating on this. But yeah, you couldn't pay me to do one of these at a carnival. At best, I'm doing the one where you squirt water in the hole and you try and make like the horse move past fast enough or whatever. That's like, or throwing a thing.
I don't need a test of like core skills. It would be like if you went up to a booth and it's like, oh, take the math test. It's like, no, I don't want to do math at a carnival. I don't want to show strength at a carnival. I'm here for a
Really?
good
When
time.
you were, in your early days of you dating Angela, you didn't be like, hey, check this out, and then do one of these to show off? I feel like you're that guy, Mike.
Yeah, and then they trick you by like, well, it's actually not order of operations, so sorry, no toy for you. All right, what did Liana said to what the?
Mama!
Now wait, does he have a crayon tattoo on his arm?
Yeah.
Mama, the orange is my favorite crayon.
I don't know if that could just be the watermark from Crayon, because that's the AI service that I use.
Oh, that's what it is.
But I like the idea that he's a little boy crayon temporary.
Why is it a side? Why is his neck like that?
Mama, I think I've had an allergic reaction to the raspberry jam. My face is puffing up.
I don't know. I also don't know why he's got like a swimsuit. Like it's like a little sailor boy swimsuit.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those like 20s bathing suits with like the real
Yes,
low cut and the
exactly.
stripes.
Yes, 100%. Anyway,
I mean, people are saying that these challenges are a bunch of carnival games. So I think like we're slowly filling out Jeff Probst's dream carnival. It's just basically all these Monster Hopper challenges. He's like, yes, John, I remember back in my days at the fairgrounds. We all picked things up with our feet and stacked blocks.
Oh, do you think that's how he comes up with all the ideas?
I honestly think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. Okay, so I'm excited for the challenge where you have to throw the ball in the hoop, but the ball is actually too big to go in the hoop and no one wins immunity.
All right, John. Back in the fair when I was 13, I was hog-tied and forced to crawl in the sand like a worm. I wish for the contestants to mimic my experience. And no scones for them.
No scones. Oh my gosh.
Well, let's get into our predictions for a guy who was deprived scones, deprived in idle use, and deprived of much more. Let's get into our preseason thoughts about Bruce. Because obviously, Bruce was the topic du jour at Ponderosa. Everyone was noticing him, I think, in a very different way than everyone was noticing him in the game. Isn't it wild that Emily calls him out in the first few minutes of the game, and then she's the one to get him to not play an idol?
We love it when it comes full circle.
I mean, that is an incredible piece of storytelling. Like, this season, I don't know what the long-term arc is, but the short-term arcs between, like, the sandwich, Bruce and Katurah, this is some of the best storytelling we've had on the show in quite some time.
I do think it's interesting that we didn't get a lot of like Katurah, like, because again, the whole season it's been Katurah, Bruce, Katurah, Bruce, Katurah, Bruce. And then in this episode, it's almost just like she was like, yeah, he's a dummy. He needs to go. And then that was like the extent of it, because almost like we had already seen all of it already.
Well, what's interesting, though, is that it is a bit of vindication, at least from my perspective, because Katurah, for the first few episodes, was like, this is the Emperor's new clothes. I'm seeing Bruce for the fool he is, but nobody else is seeing it. Everyone's just buying into the hype of crazy Uncle Bruce. By the end of this, everyone's seeing what Katurah is seeing. So it almost feels like validation in that way.
Yeah, right.
So that being said, Liana, I'm sure you had a very different opinion of how Bruce would do than how he actually did. How did you think he would do preseason?
Okay, so obviously he's a AI aficionado. I used Google
Was it Anna,
Bard.
Indiana?
Yes. That's actually the winner of the season. It's so wild. So Bruce was, I think, either the third or fourth person to make Mergatory because I had a lot of people fall in my Mergatory category. Okay, so here's what I wrote about Bruce. Bruce is back, baby. And with his return comes crazy, fun Uncle Bruce, a character that helps him bond with the young people on his tribe. Additionally, because Bruce isn't taking anything for granted this time around, it allows him to appreciate the little things, making him a positive force around camp. Bruce goes on a journey where he does not risk his vote because he isn't taking his vote for granted. And then I said, finally, his downfall comes from being perceived as a threat in challenges, which made him a target for other players come Mergatory. His ally was Jake and his enemy was Caleb. So a lot wrong, some correct.
I think that's a wash. Like, I think Skew's positive here. You had us in the first half, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So I had higher prospects from Bruce.
Mm.
I had him making the finale, and I had him
Okay.
as our sort of like unanimous final five.
Mm.
He's too
Mhm.
powerful to let move forward, booed. I said that Bruce instantly comes into a position of power on Bellows since everyone wants to work with him. Despite him not wanting to be the dad, he becomes the head of the new Blue family. Wanting to channel the trend from his previous season, he tries to join up with the women, coining the Bruce's Angels alliance. We'll get a whole thing in the premiere when he wakes up on day 2. Samwise Gamgee style, he'll say this is the farthest he's ever been in the game of Survivor, which would have been amazing on day 2. Bruce will continue to catch the eyes of everyone post-merge as the opposition perceives him as the head of the alliance, no pun intended, consistently targeting him. After Austin wins immunity at the Final 5 spoiler, Bruce is looking to his fellow Bellows to carry through, but they all see him as too big of a threat for his likability and story, so he's tragically cut short. His closest ally is all of Bello at some point, and his enemy was Sabaya.
Okay. I want to see the universe where they get to meet. That would be fun.
Listen, if he just used that freaking idol, it would have been possible. Tim, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
Actually, they could have made a bond around that.
They might have, yeah. You
Yeah, maybe
didn't
they
use
did
it. I
after-
didn't
oh.
use it.
I like the fact that that both of us had him again, because based on the preseason it was like, oh, everybody wants to work with him, like he's gonna be able to create this, this core faction of people, and we learned from Exit Press would have been the first gone on Bello, so like well whoops.
Yeah, so Puya, I mean, this was a pretty big swing and a miss for us both, but I guess whose bat made more contact with the ball by comparison?
So I liked what you said about
Broccoli.
Austin winning the immunity, because that did end up happening, albeit a couple rounds too early. And I was ready to dunk on Liana, but I feel like the combination of closest ally, that one will pass. But Caleb was really when things started going a little more like warped for Bruce. I feel like the Caleb of it all was huge. So I'd give that to her over there. Not taking his, vote for granted. I thought that was fun. And only one of you can smother me in my sleep. So Liana, you get the point.
Now, if I am you, I technically could do that as well.
You
Mike's gonna show
could.
up.
If I take over in your head, it's my turn.
Yeah,
Puya.
but if I get a cutout of a giant adult in a baby costume, he won't enter the room, so I'll be fine.
Just dress up your Josh Duhamel cutout in a baby costume.
Exactly.
I like the idea that, like, oh, some people have baseball bats, some people keep pepper spray. Puya just keeps a giant cutout of an adult baby as defense by the bed.
It's the Corey, Big Brother Corey's Halloween costume from this year.
Oh,
Well, you
God.
know what it is, though? That's Jeff Probst in the scone. That's you appealing to 1% of people, thinking it applies to everyone else as well. Before we proceed, look, this would not be the B&B if we did not do a frame-by-frame breakdown of the Playing with the Boys montage from this episode. I have watched this, I kid you not, 50 times between when I first watched it and when we are talking now. I could not stop laughing. This is one of the most ridiculous things the show has ever done in 20 plus seasons. We just need to think about this. They made a music video with previously licensed music used in Top Gun over a montage. This is what 90 minutes are for. This is what it's about.
Yeah, this is why I'm happy that we have the 90 minutes, because we have to get these kind of weird, bizarre segments as like the editors try to figure out how to fill the rest of the time in like a fun way. I mean, they're doing it in a fun way. Like I do not consider this filler. This is critical. This will be broken down, I'm sure, in college film classes for years to come because of its historical impact.
I think so. Honestly, I'm going to make the push, like, nominate for an Oscar. Best short film.
I mean, I support.
All right. Well, listen, I have this video. I figured what we could do is we'll just habitually stop from time to time and break it all down. Apologies to those that are just listening to the podcast version. It'll be a lot of talking over each other and stopping and starting this audio, but like, it's so good. It's so good. And there's so many weird things that happen in it. Like, come on. This is our feast. This is our Thanksgiving dinner. Wait, also, why did they do Thanksgiving?
I think they mistimed it. I think they mistimed it.
While we were watching, I literally turned to Pooh and I was like, do they think that this episode lined up with Thanksgiving? Like with the timing?
I think so.
We were like, yeah.
Because this filmed in April.
Yeah. So we're doing Thanksgiving. Turkey dinner, mashed potatoes, juice.
I just feel terrible for like the people last week. Now I guess Julie got to go twice, but like these people dug into their hands into raw chicken carcass, not raw, I guess. And this one they're like, here's the full thing that you wished you had last time. Kendra, if only you lasted one more day, you actually would have been a civilized adult at this meal.
What holiday do you think they were celebrating with the single rotisserie chicken?
I call that boy dinner, college edition. Full rotisserie chicken, definitely.
No sides, no utensils. They're all
no utensil, nothing. Just raw dog in the chicken.
All right, well, let's raw dog with these boys as we get into the montage from this episode. All right, I have to stop here to start. Because we find out in this sequence, spoiler alert, that these guys have a very different definition of masculinity that I think anything they're talking about or the music may indicate. One of them is like them catcalling Drew as his skeletal frame is flexing to nobody in particular.
Yeah, I like that he's like facing away from them.
Who was he facing?
Was he posing for the cameras, do you think?
Might be. Mike, I want to show you a photo I took while we were watching the episode.
Oh, please, yes.
So this is a photo of this exact same scene. And as you can tell, our cat Clam was enamored with Drew flexing here, fully watching Drew flex it up.
Is she because maybe she saw him as like a fish skeleton?
She was like, can I eat that?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
can I have it?
Oh my God, that fish skeleton's so real. And he's flexing right in front of me.
Also, I already sent that to Mike Puya.
Okay, well, that was
trying to do my best acting.
I know, you did such a good job.
How did my acting
like
do?
Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I'm not voting with you two, so great. That's good to know now.
But like, so I'm trying to understand the context behind this. Were they like, yeah, Drew, the girls aren't around. Take off your shirt and show off them muscles, boy.
I like, maybe they were having a conversation about muscles, right? Because like, obviously the other three, we know in some context, like exercising and working out and lifting, right?
But like,
don't we know that?
Were they like, how's your trapezius, bro? Like, is that the conversation they were having?
They're gassing them up. They're gassing them up to like fit in.
And they were like, yeah, you're like actually you're skinny, but like you have muscle. And then they were like, show off your muscle. Is that like
a thing? This is not the show to do that on.
Do?
Oh, you had so much muscle before it all atrophied from you not eating for 20 days.
Yeah, but like, show off your thin, malnourished body.
All right, let's keep going.
The guys being dudes.
I love the other thing too. Okay, apart from guys being dudes, I love the idea that, remember, there's no music, okay? Yeah. Like, that's always my favorite part about things like this is, remember, it's silent out there.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So when he's just posing, it's silent.
Yeah, well, that's why they have the soundtrack of like, yeah, buddy, woo, yeah. Do you think Drew went further? Do you think he did the full Monty?
Know what that means. No.
What's the full Monty?
No.
Do you think Drew had Basile, was hanging Basile there?
He was absolutely not hanging Basile.
Guys being dudes.
Basile.
Guys being dudes? I don't know. I don't think you've hung Bloom in front of me, Mike. I don't know if we be dudes like that.
It's because I am you. Every time you hang Puya, it's me in the
mirror. Ladies' night at the sanctuary, boys' night out camping. There's a little more flatulence, a little more burping, and it's nice to just be the guy sometimes. You know, you haven't gotten that in 18 days, and it's just the boys, like, let's...
So Jake,
Would you
I don't know
throw
if he's
that
trying to get someone. He's like tossing a lime and he just shucked to the side, which again, the implication is you can't do this around the girls. You can't huck fruit willy-nilly when the females
Yeah.
are around. God help
Oh
them.
God. I think for me, what really makes that moment is the fervor with which he throws it. Like he's just all casually tossing it, and then all of a sudden, just yeah.
Yeah, it's like when when you're trying to throw something at a friend, but you don't want them to know, so you kind of do the yawn, and then you immediately chuck it when they're not looking. It gives that same energy.
15 days, and it's just the boys. Like, let's do
Yeah.
it, guys.
Yes.
Okay, so we have to talk about this a number of ways. First, let's talk about this fruit. So again, we are treated to a montage of like, again, these are the things that the girls won't let you do. I'll silence this for a second just to go through like, so we have Jake tossing the lime, handing off a coconut, and throwing a coconut. Again, if you have a vagina, no can do on this island. We can't throw coconuts when the ladies are around.
I love this idea of like, did Bruce take the coconut into the water with him, sit down holding the coconut, and then choose to throw
I think
it?
he
Or like,
consumed it and then chucked it.
you
Maybe.
think he like was drinking? But the thing is, it
Yeah.
looked pretty intact. So unless he made like a nice little hole,
Well,
and then
that's a
kinda,
brown
like, drank
coconut.
out
The
of it.
brown coconuts are usually the overripe, like pretty dead ones.
Okay, so did he bring it as like a buoyancy device to help him float out?
Put in the
into
boy in
water?
buoyancy.
And then he just yeets it into the ocean.
Do you think he
Oh,
said
it's
yeet
so
when he
good.
did it?
Yeet.
I would
hope
have.
so.
No, you know what?
hope
He
so. I
definitely
would've.
said Kobe as he threw it into the ocean. Like,
Yeah.
I want to rewind a bit because again, so I don't know about y'all, but when I was watching this, I'm like, oh, it's fun. They brought in like generic rock music to underscore this. This is typically new, but we had this with Sifu a little bit with the heavy metal music. This is clearly like, royalty-free music. When the lyrics came in, I was gobsmacked. Because if you look in Survivor history, we have had contestants sing songs before, but to Liana's point, it's in the moment. It's Shambo singing Survivor. It's Shapira singing Have You Ever Seen the Rain? This is actual diegetic music that was licensed. This is not the Blue Danube, public venue music. They're not singing Mary Had a Little Lamb out there. They're bringing in this music from another film to underscore this scene. I cannot underline this enough of how new this is for the show.
But I think also it goes with the promos, right?
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, they've kind of like teased us that this could be a direction we're heading because every trailer we've seen this season, Mike, every preview has a big song that's been licensed for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, is I feel like people have asked, have they been doing that in previous Survivor seasons? They have to a certain extent. I remember clear as day, there was a promo for Fans vs. Favorites 2 to Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train that highlighted Philip and Brandon Hance of like, we brought back these two mentally unstable individuals. Get ready.
Oh my! Well, this year I feel like they've gone all in. On it. They've had more budget to spend, I guess. But I've liked it. It's been a fun difference here.
Oh, and this, like, I was giddy when I first heard this because I'm like, this is what this needs. Like, if it was just generic rock and roll music, Evil Dick Pots and Pan style, it would not be nearly as good. We needed an out-and-out song by Kenny Loggins to underscore this scene because honestly, this would be a fan edit. This would be an edit that someone would make with their own time. A professional was paid to do this. And you know what? I would give them a raise if I had the means to do so. All right, Mr. Loggins, bring us in here. All right, what is Bruce doing?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I just genuinely have no idea. I don't even have a guess.
Smash something? Was he holding something? Kind of like a hammer type situation?
Spoiler alert, we're going to be treated to a montage of them chopping because, again, only boys can chop. Oftentimes with boys, it's more so about something getting chopped off. But it's a sequence of like, they are chopping coconuts on the rhythm. Only the guys can do this with their upper body strength. Bruce, of course, Bruces it and decides to, I don't know, be a little maniacal when he does it. Maybe that's the same coconut that he tossed in the water.
Oh, maybe. Like he was trying to break it open no matter what. And like he tries it first there and then he chucked it into the ocean or vice versa. I don't know. It's very odd because it's tough to tell. Is he by the fire? Like maybe he's doing it with firewood or something.
Let's see.
Okay, he was definitely. Oh.
I
Yeah,
love
so in the
this.
middle of this, it's just cut to a random shot of Jake waddling his way to the beach wearing flippers. You know, the most masculine thing you can do.
But it's like he can't bend his knees. Like the way he's walking is like his straight legs just walk like this.
Kneecap by kneecap, he'll get there.
I think it's because the
Seriously,
flippers
it's
are
so
hard
funny.
to walk straight forward with. I feel like because it's a lot more like.
Aren't
Yes.
you supposed to walk backwards to the ocean, though, when you're in flippers?
Oh,
Yes. Yes, it can be easier to walk backwards, but you can still lift your feet up when
but
you
that's
have
too much
flippers.
work.
Yeah, well, and you know, Jake is running on fumes.
He's
so
being a
just gotta,
bro,
like,
being a
slowly
dude.
Careful
Yeah.
my
his
legs
way
and these
down there.
flippers. Flippers, bro.
If he walked regularly, Anna, this doesn't make the montage. It's so good.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Why isn't he moving the top half of him?
That's what I'm saying. It's
Use
like
the
his,
least amount of energy as possible.
yeah, his torso is like disjointed, and he can only swing the legs back and forth.
Someone used like the
Very odd.
body lock charm from Harry Potter on him. Still gotta go fishing though. I think this is one of my favorite shots. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, my man.
So
Yeah, the muscle.
The
of
slow-mo muscle
of
flex.
Austin's rippling arm. Like he's not even flexing. It's just kind of flapping around like a limp fish.
Yeah. When we discussed when we discussed doing it, there were 3 moments that stood out to me: Bruce throwing the coconut, Jake waddling into the ocean with the flippers, and Austin's arm. Because I was just like, like, I love the idea of going through all the footage that you have and like cutting it together and being like, no, you know, man, muscles, arms.
Yeah. What are men known for? Their arms. Here
Yeah.
we go.
But also him like
But
snapping.
also, like,
he's
that's
like
the thing.
snapping.
He's not flexing a muscle. He just moved his arm and they're like, got it. Oh, this'll be great.
Why was it so zoomed into that?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
what were
know.
they filming for?
I guess they already had Drew flexing, so they were like, now we need you shaking your muscles.
Yeah, you
That's
know,
what men do.
that great attribute of shaking that muscle.
Shake those muscles.
Raspberry jam on that scone don't shake, but Austin's muscles do.
Maybe that's something that happens in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, we need.
That-
What the hell is this?
Jake.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
That's
so
a-
awkward.
Oh, that's a you mistimed it and you kind of got to firm it and move on with it.
But
it's-
did Jake even make a fist?
Jake
Yeah.
is doing the least
It was like
amount of
a-
effort throughout this. He
Wait,
can't
can you go
make
back a
fun.
little?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back a little here. Let's review this again.
Oh, he goes like this and like
So
shoves his
Jake is
wrist
like
at him.
And Austin goes like, so first off, I don't know if Austin missed or if Drew's like, just hit any part of it, it's fine.
But Drew was like curling his fist under. So like for Drew to hit
His
it,
hand
Drew's
must
gotta
be
go
dirty.
under and up.
Maybe his hand's dirty.
I don't know, let's see.
Who? Yeah, see, that's so awkward.
Now,
No wonder
could-
they didn't get along.
Now, could this be something along the lines of like, has anyone ever done awkward turtle with you? Try to do some sort of like weird 2-person handshake.
That's such millennial stuff.
Yeah, the turkey. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's what they ate at the sanctuary. Maybe it's something where it's like, I don't know, hit the fish with the rock. You know, like,
Mm.
oh, here's the fish, hit it with a rock.
Is this like a dude thing that I just don't know? The classic hit the fish with the rock handshake.
No.
No, I would say that Jake might be a bit of a germaphobe and be like, you know, it's still COVID, let's like touch elbows. But we see him very clearly like bro hug with, I think it's with Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, they dap up there. Yeah. No. This might be, maybe they were. What is that? Now it's like an awkward turtle of its own.
Ew,
Like, because the thumb is the thumb is the head.
I'm screenshotting this. This is the best representation of their dynamic I think I've ever seen.
So like awkward
mean,
anteater.
Yeah. This is like right before their fight, so it makes sense.
You know what
Yeah.
this is
Not
actually? This
be
is Bruce's game.
simpatico.
This is Bruce's game in a nutshell. This is him being like, I got you guys. This is how we
It's like-
fist
So
bump.
awkward.
Let's do a bro fist, but both our hands are facing the same direction.
See, this is what yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying is like the way Jake presents the wrist. Like he has curled his fingers underneath to conceal them. He is not trying to fist bump.
Maybe it's like
not.
because it's kind of like when you cross your fingers when you behind your back kind of thing. Maybe it's like if I don't give him the full fist, I'm not being deceptive.
Oh, it's like the
I
Jeff
like
Kent,
that.
right? The 4-finger handshake.
Exactly.
Here's actually, I took a closer look. I magnified, I zoomed in, I enhanced. It turns out Jake is actually holding a lime, and he's about to bean Drew in the face with it, and that's why he kept it concealed.
Drew walks away. He's like, chuck at him.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Drew walked away, and he just chucked the lime at him.
And you're wearing the same clothes. Makes sense.
Exactly. So this is the other thing.
Oh, I love this. I love the fact that he's cleaning the pot and it's the montage of like, I don't fit in with the men. Is it because men don't clean pots? I was like, this is a traditional female task. So we're going to have Drew do it with the montage of him not fitting in with the men. I could not believe. I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Okay, Nicole.
One step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah, I love that it's like, Drew's doing the least masculine thing ever. He's cleaning a pot.
Yeah, like that's the thing because we get all the masculine tasks. We get carrying the big log and shuffling to the water. I guess is masculine. Throwing limes at people, very masculine. And then it's
Bro
like
fist.
not cleaning the pot.
Oh my god.
I have never been one of the boys. I have never.
Oh my god.
Wait, I need to rewind for like the full lyrical context here. Here we go.
I have never been one of the boys. I have never broed out. Like
they're laughing at him. They're laughing at you, Drew.
I observed the bro out only from an anthropological distance.
What is Bruce doing?
Is that
Bruce
right?
is doing Bruce noises.
Is this Bruce doing like his best nutty professor? Like just doing impressions around the campfire?
I think he's just excited about the rice.
Mhm.
Then it makes him say "der her."
Maybe. Look how happy he looks. Find someone who looks at you like Bruce looks at rice. Oh, not like that though.
It was just a good pause there. It was a flattering pause that Mike had got us.
Yeah, this is how Bruce met his wife. She looked at him across the bar and she heard him say, and that was just match made in heaven.
What impression do you think that is though, Mike?
I honestly think it's him doing an impression of like some younger kid of him like, this is Bruno Mars, her.
I have often said that's what Bruno Mars actually sounds like. Yeah,
exactly. You have to read between the lines.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about all this locker room stuff, I guess.
No.
What's that?
Certainly not cooking pots or cleaning pots.
Yeah, exactly. No, please
That's women shit.
Don't talk about grabbing people by anything. I don't want locker room talk being brought back for the first time since 2016. I think, again, this is why Drew observed things from an anthropological distance.
He doesn't know.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
doesn't know. Yeah.
He's like, so the clitoris.
Have we found it?
have we found it, gents?
Have you seen this? Do you have any information?
Her. I think we need to do a recap where we put this all in chronological order.
Oh my god.
We talked about food a lot. We talked about like action movies, like the stuff that the girls don't want to talk about.
Yep, that infamous no ladies are let into any action movies.
Or food.
Women don't like food.
They don't eat. They just stand in a corner staring aimlessly at a wall until a pot gets dropped in front of them.
They don't watch action movies.
Yeah.
But so, okay, they're talking about food. Great. What food talk are they going to be divulging into with just these four gentlemen? Let's take a listen.
Like, okay, bacon is good, but it's not like amazing.
It's
I
a little
prefer
overrated.
steak. Pork is very fatty.
Welcome to every tier list stream podcast with two men ever.
Gotta talk about bacon.
No, but
Gotta
I
talk
love
about
that,
that
like,
bacon.
the talk is like, you think it's them, like, lavishing praise onto things. Almost like the sequence they did with Bello in the pre-merge of like, oh, I can't wait for this stuff. But Austin's like, here's actually why, like, bacon's fine. It's not great. Like, I love that this is what only the guys can talk about. The women fear judgment.
Can I quickly sidestep and speak on that a little bit? I feel like in 2010, bacon kind of became the big thing. And it was like, oh my God, bacon everything, bacon candy, bacon bits, bacon flavored this and that. And then we have kind of slowed down and now people are back on like, yeah, bacon's overrated. I feel like they built it up and now the trend's going down. You know, just guys.
I'm a sausage girl myself.
Yep.
Her dur dur.
We are a sausage family.
Bacon is kind of like Aubrey Bracco. Like, was really popular and then was overrated and now was like a little underrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
I'm doing my best, but it was fun, and you got to try new things out here on Survivor. So I'll try the bro out.
Okay, so they do some of the most intense close-ups I've ever seen on the show in what looks to be like B-roll from the intro that they didn't keep in to be like, boys, these are the boys. And I love it. Like, it is the perfect way to end this montage with one exception of like, these are the boys and they're having a great time, even though these photos are probably very out of context.
I wish Austin's was his intro. I love the happy jumping up and down. It's so good. It's like giddy.
Yeah, why is Drew's face so close up?
Also, it kind of looks like he's in pain. Is he happy or in pain? This
Well,
is like
he's-
one of the photos they would show people to like study human emotion. Of like,
you know-
what emotion do you think he's feeling right now?
It
Yeah.
looks kind of poopish.
Jake,
Like
You
he's
think he's
pooping.
pooping?
Yeah, kind of looks poopish.
listen, that's what the guys could only talk about, right? Like, oh yeah. Just like a big old deuce in the woods. All right, here we go. Let's close it out.
The bro out.
Again, I've seen this 50 times. No matter how many times I watch it, I always laugh at the freeze frame
Yes.
and zoom in. To
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that no one's facing him. Like no one is seeing the front that we're seeing. It's wild.
Yeah, it's the freeze frame for me. And
Yeah.
Jake's little face. It's those two things that like to me really make this.
It's just incredible. Like, first off, is this the story of like Drew coming into his own as a boy, that he observed them from afar and now he is the boy that they are playing with, the titular
Oh.
boy?
Oh boy. I thought this is like he becomes a man kind of story.
Yeah, just they did a freeze frame like it's an 80s sitcom before the credits. This is incredible. This is art to me. Put this in the Louvre. Take down the Mona Lisa. That's bacon. That's overrated. This
Yeah.
is the new meat.
This is the sausage.
This is the sausage.
Ugh,
I just-
it's
I
so
just
it's just
I-
it's also like a great editing choice. Like why? Why?
Why close on a freeze frame?
Why? Yeah, why? I love it.
I need to play it again.
The bro out.
As if to say, like, and Drew lived happily ever after.
Mhm. You could add subtitles right as a freeze frames.
Oh yeah.
Drew went on to be a bro for many years to come.
Bruce got voted out with an idol in his pocket.
Aw.
Jake doesn't know if
for,
he's a
each of
lawyer
their
anymore.
faces. Oh my god.
All right. Yeah. So listen, like, apologies for that. We just had to get into it. Like, come on. This was one of the funniest things the show has done in years. How could we not? That'd be leaving meat on the table.
So good. So good. Now that we've rewatched it, originally I thought Bruce throwing the coconut into the water was my favorite. I think I'm gonna have to go with Jake waddling down.
Waddling
to the
Jake,
beat
hands
with,
down.
No, I think I have to go with the fist bump. I have to go
Well,
with
fist
just
bump.
the,
Yeah,
the
fist bump is-
enigmatic.
yeah.
Jake.
That
awkward
one I
elephant.
didn't notice as like I remember it being weird, but I remember not it being that weird.
I mean, listen, it's always going to finish second, in my opinion, to the freeze frame on Drew. That's always just going to, nothing can hold a candle to that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are not going to freeze frame. We're going to keep moving on here. Now, look, We did this last season, and we had a trip to the sanctuary this week where good things happen. If you're Katora, unfortunately, maybe not so good things, but the castaways were, of course, treated to letters from home. So I'm actually intrigued before we get into this. Jeff explains the reward initially, takes a pause, and then moves into the challenge. Did you all clock that initially? Did you just think that's weird? Or did you think, okay, there's usually loved ones letters and they didn't announce it?
This was if I remember correctly, this is when he was listing off all the items and then it got quiet. So I thought they were just staying quiet because they're like, all right, and what else? And what else? And then it just like stopped and he switched up. I didn't think for a second that maybe loved ones were brought up here and he just removed that from they removed it from the edit or anything.
What? I remember being awkward and then Jake being like, oh yeah, or whatever.
Yeah, I had clocked it initially because again I'd assumed that loved ones letters would be at the final lane. I think I saw in a promo I saw Julie crying, and so I'm like, they'll probably bring it up. And so I thought, okay, they're hiding it for whatever reason to bring up after the reward was won. If that's the case, why would you need to do that at all? Don't you want to make people fight harder, go kneecap by kneecap if they know that loved ones letters are on the line?
But also, can't you just edit that part out to make it not so awkward? Right? Just cut out that
90 minutes.
2 seconds of silence. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't care. But like, also, is it? Yeah, because hold on, because didn't Emily say like when they announced it was going to be love letters from home, I knew I was going to bring my girls. So then he must have said it before, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She said when it was an overnight visit, she said that she was going to bring her girls.
All right, never mind.
So we could.
Well, that's not what I was saying.
Because she knew we got to leave those boys at camp because there's going to be a hell of a montage there.
Yeah, our true editor.
Listen, so we have to give so much credit to Emily for so many reasons, but we did indeed get a trip to the sanctuary, and we got loved ones letters.
Where good things happen.
Where good things happen. So we are going to be writing up our own loved ones letters here. Or we're writing them up in the style of Mad Libs. So I have 2 letters here. One is going to be to any sort of contestant that you want to. The other is for Bruce. Who do you want to start with?
Bruce.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go back and forth here. Of course, Mad Lib style. I will give you something that you will need to give back to me, some sort of descriptor, and I will place it in this letter that I have written, and we'll go from there and see what letter Bruce's wife, in this case, has written to him. Liana, let's start with you. Give me an adjective.
Smushy.
Smushy. Okay. Is that mush through the smush again?
Mush through the smush.
All right, Puya, give me a food.
Burger.
Burger. Okay.
Scone.
Liana, give me a body part.
D's big toe.
So specifically D's big toe. Okay. This is going to be an interesting sentence to start off. Puya, give me an animal.
Ooh, elephant.
Elephant. Liana, give me an adjective.
Sharp.
Sharp. Puya, give me a relative.
Ant.
Okay. Liana, give me the name of a dance move.
No. Is the dab a dance move?
It is now.
The flossing.
No, dab's fine, please.
No, we'll do dab.
Puya, remember yesterday when I was like, what is this dance where you like jump and you're like this? What is that?
I don't know. I remember the name of it, but it is a move.
Bumping?
No, that's what I thought she was doing because she wasn't moving.
Oh, like that Fortnite dance.
Yeah.
Yes,
the dance that Fortnite put on the yeah. I don't remember the name. It's been a couple years, but please stop doing it.
I'd accept that or flossing or dabbing.
All right. Okay. All right. I wrote a descriptor that I think will be very bad. So yeah, give me something that millennials say.
Oh, doggo.
Oh, doggo.
No, the was just me separately. It's just doggo. Or no. Can I change it, please?
Yeah, please.
I did a thing.
I did a thing.
Classic millennial move.
Liana, give me a piece of clothing.
Fingerless gloves.
Oh, nice. Just in time for winter. Puya, give me an occupation.
Ooh, sewage department guy.
Okay. Sewage.
Head of sewage. Head of sewage.
Head of sewage. Okay. Liana, give me the name of a reality show.
Oh, the Hot Mom one. Mom Island. Hot Mom
MILF
Island.
MILF Manor.
Island.
MILF Manor.
Hot
Milf
Mom
Manor.
Island MILF Manor. Puya, give me a catchphrase.
D's nuts.
Okay. Oh, well,
Whose
like these big toe.
catchphrase is D's nuts?
The guy who made it. I don't know.
And Liana, finally, give me an object.
Oh, an object.
Oh my God.
There's so many
Really
objects on my
look
desk.
around the
I'll pick
room.
one. I want to say a jar of dirt.
Okay.
It is in
Incredible.
her room. Can confirm.
So this is Bruce's letter from his lovely wife,
Oh,
as written
no.
by Puya and Liana.
Yes.
Bruce, I can't believe you made it this far in the game, let alone to the sanctuary, where smooshy things happen.
Aw.
I hope you're not staining the paper too much with the grease from that burger you ate with your bare D's big toes.
Ew.
I have so many questions, but as you like to tell us back home, don't look a gift elephant in the mouth.
Mhm.
I hope you've been dispensing some of that similar sharp wisdom to the contestants. I'll admit your crazy Aunt Bruce plan seemed a little far-fetched before you went out to Fiji, but I'm sure it gone over like gangbusters on the beach. I mean, who doesn't love whenever you break out the Fortnite dance where you jerk your hand around? Or when you complain about I did a thing. Just please don't do the whole I lost the flint but had it in my fingerless gloves bit. That's a bit much. Things are going well back home. I gotta admit, the house is a little bit messy without you using your time as a head of sewage department to keep us all in line.
Oh.
Your brother is trying to follow in the footsteps of the Wurtenbergers and apply for his favorite reality show, MILF Manor.
I have dreams, Bruce's brother.
Either way, we're looking forward to having you come back and welcome us in with a typical Bruce, D's nuts.
It's such a typical Bruce D's nuts. Oh my God, that's so good. I
Just-
really need Bruce doing that Fortnite dance now.
Just please, for the love of God, do not go out with your jar of dirt in your pocket. With
Aw.
love, Melinda.
Oh, that's sweet. That's nice. a lot
Imagine-
of red flags, but interesting.
Imagine Bruce on the boat being like, Brando, what's this?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he would have capsized the boat, but
Yeah.
the robot was probably a safer option from that perspective. But
Can't wait to see Bruce's brother, Goose, on
on MILF Island or MILF Manor.
MILF Manor.
Goose Peralt is gonna bang those moms.
Okay, but like here's the thing. You know what that implies, right? That also means Bruce's mom is going to be on MILF Manor.
Oh, Mrs. Bruce.
So, yeah, we'd have to get both of them. Also, I love a universe where Bruce's catchphrase is D's nuts because that just makes everything so much better. I love the idea of him being out there and then, like, I don't know, like winning immunity and being like, D's nuts!
D's
like,
nuts!
right after he wins. Oh, it'd be
All right.
So good.
So now let's get into the more choose your own adventure, I should say, of the loved ones letters. So first, why don't you pick a castaway in the final 8 of Survivor that you are writing this letter to?
Okay, Puya, who you want to write it to?
I feel like for the comedy, we have to go Jake.
Okay, yeah, it was between Jake or Drew, so I'm good with that.
And who is this letter from?
Drew!
Okay. I don't know if they'll allow that. Buster Rob ever asked you ever see a pass? No, we're doing it. We're making it happen. That Drew is like, Jeff, can I call an audible? Can we sneak a letter in there? Can I just go up and write something really quick?
I don't know why my brain was like, you have to also pick a survivor.
Yeah.
Final 8. didn't even comprehend. Like, oh no, you should pick a loved one.
Well, that'd be incredible if everyone had the opportunity to write letters to each other. Because, like, think of the sabotage.
That would be
Ooh,
really
you know what'd be
good.
fun is, you know how when you interview them in the preseason, they
Mhm.
talk about each other's impressions. If they were like, all right, write a letter to any of these players sight unseen that you don't know, and then they give it to them at this reward. And they're like,
Oh,
we won't tell you who it's from, but
Oh
this
my
is someone's
God.
impression of you.
but that would be terrible for like Emily because she had such harsh judgments of everyone in the preseason.
Yeah,
So
but it's
she's
I love
anonymous.
that.
They won't know who it was from. They don't know who
Oh,
it's from.
gotcha. Yeah, because I would use that to like, I don't know. I'd be like, I love you so much. Meet me on the beach at midnight for a
Mike.
smooch.
But you do realize that when the season's over, they'll know it was you, right? Yes.
Well, duh, but not in the moment.
In the moment, let's creep him out.
No,
Yeah.
they'll be
What,
like,
are you hoping for a smooch? or
they'll
are you
be
hoping
no, they'll
to
be
creep
up
them
all
out?
night on the beach waiting for their
Like
secret
which
admirer.
one?
Mental
Yeah.
warfare.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Like
Smart.
if you want to impress me, hit your head against a tree 20 times as hard as you can. Love your
If you
secret
want-
admirer.
If you want to impress me, go climb up that really sharp rock by
Yeah,
the
exactly.
beach.
If you want to
Or-
impress me, flex, but face away from me so I don't see you flexing.
If you really want to like get in their heads, just be like, I stole your idol. It's in the fire right now. Good luck.
Ooh.
All right, so let's get into this letter. It's unorthodox as all get out, but Drew got one in for Jake. Puya, we'll start with you. Give me a relative.
Cousin.
Okay, this makes things interesting already. Liana, give me an adjective.
Pickled, pickly.
Pickly. Okay, sure.
Like
Sure.
or like pruny, like pickled, like pruny, like you know, when your fingers get all pruny. Like
So how do your
pickly.
fingers get pickly?
like you know,
when you use
pickle
your
something,
fingers in the pickle jar.
you're pickly.
So like grind?
Yeah, brined would be
No, we're saying
sufficient as
pickly.
well.
Pickly.
I guess staying on that subject, we're talking about food. What are we? The boys? Puya, give me a food.
Corn dog.
Corn dog.
Oh, corn dog.
Liana, give me the name of a Survivor 45 castaway that is not Jake or Drew. Could be anybody else.
Okay, it could be anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick Brandon.
Okay. Puya, give me a typical Survivor challenge.
Oh,
The last breath. Last breath.
Last breath. Okay. Liana, give me the name of a recreational place.
what does that even mean?
Like a place you go to like hang out, relax, etc.
Like a hookah lounge.
My first thought was Top Golf.
Well, we're going Top Golf then.
Have you ever done that?
No,
Okay.
I've never been to Top Golf, but I did get a TikTok about a woman who cut open a Top Golf mini golf ball, and it did not have a tracker in it.
What?
Yeah, Liana's
Yeah.
TikTok is very much curated for
Like,
one person and one
are
person
there
only.
usually trackers of them?
I think they have to do them in the big, not the mini golf, but the big golf. So like they see where the ball goes, but they don't
Yeah.
have them in the mini golf. And a lot of people in the comments were surprised that Top Golf had mini golf because there was one woman who worked at a Top Golf. She said that her Top Golf did not have a mini golf.
I think she's a liar.
I know.
I think she's trying to exaggerate. to
Should
help-
call her out.
I'm
Should
gonna
write her a
I'm putting
letter.
those comments. I've just put no in all caps. I'm on to you, Cheryl. All right,
Drag
Puya,
her.
give me a baked good.
Scone.
Okay.
Yay.
Liana, give me a verb.
A verb. A verb is an action.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. So to smash down, but like specifically that motion.
Smash. We're going with smash, Mike. Smash.
Okay.
But
Puya.
he didn't step on it.
Give me an object.
My affection.
Aw.
Aw.
Liana, give me the name of a store.
The name of a store. Okay, we have a store called Ocean State Job Lot.
What do they sell?
I don't know, but I've driven past it a bunch, so I pick Ocean State Job Lot.
Are they
It's a
selling
discount
stuff?
store.
They sell stuff.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, can I change it to BJ's?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, it's like our Costco.
This is the weirdest front page to a store I've seen. They sell like Paw Patrol ride-on toy, like those little toys that kids can sit on, like a little car. You scroll one line down, there is a scooter, a vacuum, there's a pet crate, there's a 75-inch fireplace console. So a lot going on at the job lot.
Wow, I know where I'm doing my Christmas shopping.
There you go.
I
They
need a
got sales.
500-watt generator. Got that going on.
Yeah.
All right, who are we on? Puya, give me the name of another Survivor 45 contestant.
I'm gonna go with Caleb.
Caleb, okay. Liana, give me an adjective.
We picked all the men because it's boys' night. For my adjective, I pick sticky.
Okay. So this is going to be, we're going to go back and forth now
Okay.
for you to name adjectives. You're each going to name 3 adjectives. So Puya, I'll start with you. Actually, we won't go back and forth. Just name 3 adjectives.
Heavy,
Mm-hmm.
soft,
Mm-hmm.
big.
Okay. Liana, give me 3 adjectives.
Holy,
Mm-hmm.
like
Not a
full of
sun-
holes.
Yeah, we're recording this on a Sunday. Oh, okay. Never mind. Never
Not
mind.
like
Do you think the boys talked about God? Is that a thing the boys talked about?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't
Like
think
in
so.
The blah, it didn't come up.
Mhm.
What am I doing?
2 more adjectives.
Okay. The next adjective I'm gonna go with is flashy,
Okay. And the last one.
wet.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. This is a probably illegal letter
Oh no, I forgot. I forgot how we started. Oh no.
Drew sent to Jake. My beloved Jake.
Oh,
I'm sure you never expected to get a letter from your cousin.
yay!
What a twist. They know each other.
They know each other.
That's why they fought so much.
That makes more sense now, honestly.
Well, let this be my own version of a blindside. If you're reading this, you're at the sanctuary where pickly things happen.
Oh.
I hope the corn dog dinner was delicious and
Ooh.
Brandon didn't hog all the sauce.
Ooh.
I know it was tough to win last breath, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you pulled from those days we spent back at Topgolf doing the same thing. Remember when we ate too many scones and puked? Great
Ew.
times. So this would imply that you went to Topgolf, gorged on scones, then basically drowned yourself
Yeah, where did they drown themselves? I like
in the little ponds that you shoot
Yeah,
balls into.
Little koi pond.
Okay. I like that they're out there. They like snuck their way out there and they're just like, we gotta practice.
Imagine Drew and Jake, yeah, like when we go on Survivor one day. Let me waddle my
As
way out there. I
cousins.
gotta wear my flippers.
and not bend my knees.
Jeff has actually kept us up to date with everything that's been happening. Again, this is very odd that it's coming from a current player in the game, but okay. And it sounds like you've been smashing this game like I knew you would. I know things got off to a rough start when you couldn't climb my affection.
Oh.
But once you won the BJ's advantage, you were golden. What do you think the BJ's
Or the
advantage is?
Ocean State job lot advantage.
Which would be like what? Any advantage, basically? Like there's no set,
Anything goes.
no set
I think-
catalog.
Okay, the BJ's advantage, it's like a Costco kind of store, right? Like
Yeah.
Sam's Club, Costco. So I think that the BJ's advantage would be something that like gives you like a lot of something. So like it multiplies an advantage. If you have a steal a vote, now you have 2 steal a votes.
I'm like save that for next season. And so you won the BJ's advantage, so you were golden. And did I hear you were starting to showmance Caleb?
Oh.
I heard you even have a nickname for him, Sticky Blicky.
Oh. Okay. I wonder where he got that nickname from.
What does that mean, do you think?
Oh.
He's always getting himself out of sticky situations.
That's what I was thinking as well. We're on the same page.
Oh.
What did you
yeah,
think,
I thought
Liana?
No, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I
Old,
figured.
old Sticky Blicky. Just remember, no matter what happens in the next week, remember, you're playing such a heavy, soft, big, ridiculously holy, flashy, wet game. Love you, Drew.
Your gameplay wet.
Wet.
Well, he did
does it
waddle into
mean?
that ocean.
Yeah, I played a really wet game.
Actually, like, let's go through this. This actually kind of defines a lot of Jake's games. So heavy and soft. I feel like that actually both defines, like, Jake showed a lot of emotion in this episode, but like things feel very heavy for him at the same
Mhm.
time. Big, obviously, he's like very flashy right now. Ridiculously holy. He did say that Drew's not a gift from God, so he did invoke religion there. Flashy, there we go again. Wet. Flippers.
Yeah,
Flippers.
I mean, it fits, honestly.
We accidentally did it.
Pretty accurate. Yeah, I would say
Mhm.
all of it is very accurate.
Well, I have it on good authority that now Drew and Jake have made up because Jake took this to heart. He is so happy. He did ditch his showman's Sticky Blicky in favor of his cousin Drew.
Not Sticky Blicky.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to fill out the mailbox a little bit with some letters, a little bit of taste of home.
Aw. Yeah, that was good. Honestly, pretty accurate, I think, too. And I think that that's really something to be proud of. And if we could come up with a nickname worse than Lanky Blanky, it's Sticky Blicky.
That was Lanky Blanky in a nutshell, right? That freeze frame. Like, it feels like you could put like word art with Lanky Blanky underneath it.
Oh, yeah. Classic Lanky Blanky.
All right. Well, to finish things off, we are certainly not skinny on content here. We are going to throw it to our guest, as always. Puya, charity or cause that you would like to highlight for this particular week for the audience?
I'm going to be very honest with you. Up until about 5 seconds ago, I forgot that this is a tradition we hold at the B&B. So if you have one of your own, Mike, I would like to Uno reverse card you and give you the opportunity. And actually here, Uno reverse card official.
Oh my God.
So it's on you now if you have anything to...
Okay. This is... You blindsided me. You played the knowledge is power, I guess. I took the charity from you, I suppose. Well, I will go with Toys for Tots, I think is a good one. Of course, it's the holiday season. We can't all go to Ocean State Job Lot and buy our own Paw Patrol ride-ons when our budgets are very tight. So it's a great charity. I know that I've given to Toys for Tots in the past. I actually have something set up in a toy drive at my son's school to do just that. You know, the holidays are a meaningful time, and not everybody has that ability sometimes to get or give the gifts that they feel appropriate for the people that they care about. If you have the means to do so, absolutely. So you can check out Toys for Tots, or if there's a local toy drive that you know that's in your area, feel free to check it out now that we're officially hitting December and the gift giving season is upon us.
Yep, I support that. We do one at work that's always very good. So if you have a local one, that's always good. Or you can always, of course, do the larger organizations.
Well, Puya, you were the gift that kept on giving in this podcast. Thanks as always for coming on, offering your always great insights about this episode and everything, the whole gamut that was run both in the episode proper and this podcast. I know you have a lot going on as we close out the year. What do you want to plug right now?
I'll try to be very quick with it. You can find me on Twitter at Puyism, twitch.tv/Puya. That's where I stream when I'm not podcasting. Definitely check it out. We have a good time there. Podcast, I host the 90 Day Fiance. Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I'm making more Jeff Probst's face on a Sailor Boy
Oh,
outfit.
please. Yes, please.
Okay,
please.
great. 90 Day Fiance, I had Kirsten on with me this past week. Brian Scally joined me for the Other Way catch up. And then I'm going to have Liana on with me for this latest episode incoming. Speaking of Liana, Masked Singer, me and her talked about some of that. It's been fun. We have good time talking about the Masked Singer. I was also a guest this week, aside from y'all opening your doors and welcoming me into the B&B. I was a guest on the House of Villains podcast, which was a lot of fun this past week. That was a good time if you check that out. And Traders Canada is coming to an end this upcoming week. Myself and Scally have been having a great time talking about that and doing exit interviews, which I will be doing 5 of those exit interviews on Wednesday, I think. So while I'm away, so that'll be a fun exercise to see how that goes. Check all that out again at Puyism if you want to see what's going on.
Yeah, burying the lead a bit, Puya. You will be at the New Orleans live show next week, correct?
I will be.
All
and
right.
we'll talk about guy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I will be there as well. I'll bring my coconuts to just hook at any body of water I see, and I'll bring my limp wrist, and you won't know what's in it. Liana, what do you have going on?
Yes, Masked Singer, Puya plugged. Lego Masters, we are recording, I think, the finale at some point. So
Finale's coming up.
Yeah, it's all good.
At some point. Time is a flat circle. You can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. As I mentioned, interview before with Bruce. Really think people should check that out. Not only does he talk about, again, his thinking behind his interesting decision to not play as Idol, but obviously expounded upon his reaction to Kelly, to Katora, to his edit. Bruce was obviously one of the biggest characters we've had of the new era. I'm so happy that we had him back for many reasons. And it's always interesting to have people react to those types of edits. And it seems like Bruce took a lot of it in stride. I also did the Amazing Race podcast, talked with the most recently eliminated team there. And then over on post-show recaps, I'm talking Fargo. We're doing our 2023 in review series for this month, which is recapping a bunch of stuff that happened this year. Remember The Last of Us happened back in like January? That was this year. And I'm actually putting out a podcast on Monday that reviews that and just how good of a show it was. And hopefully it was a good show for you all too as well. This was a lot of fun. I will be in New Orleans as well with Puya, with Rob, with a bunch of podcasters and Survivor alumni alike. If you're going to be there as well, don't be shy. Come say hi. We don't need to talk about guy stuff necessarily, though your opinions on Bacon are always welcome. I'm always thrilled to actually talk with listeners face to face that listen to the stupidity that we engage in each and every week. And we'll continue to do next weekend once we're all back to our homes and properly rested, or at least relatively. So when I'm fully engorged from po' boys and scones and all other things you enjoy down in New Orleans, we'll be back covering episode 11. Things are set up to be interesting. The big target that everyone's been going after is gone. Will things fracture? Will the Reba 4 stay strong now that they have the absolute majority? Or will things inevitably fall apart? Who knows? We shall cover it no matter what happens next week on the BNB. If you have any game ideas, of course, email us, rhapbnb@gmail.com, or use the hashtag rhapbnb on social media. Special thanks to Scott St. Pierre and the entire team at RHAP for editing everything behind the scenes, for getting this up in front of your eyes and ears, and Wolf from America for his fantastic theme song. Liana and I will be back next week covering episode 11 of Survivor 45, the anti-penultimate episode, if you can believe it. We're already getting down to the final 3 episodes before we get to the final 3 proper. Until next time, everybody, we'll check you out at your next stay.